In today's episode of Budgetography, I'm using my 15-year-old DSLR, a simple on-camera flash, and 2 kids' bubble-making toys to create some cool bubble portraits. Hey folks, so today we're in the city with Kay to film another episode of Budgetography. If you watched the last one where we made it rain and Kay was out in winter, that has nothing to do with the fact that she's come down with a cold today and sounds a little bit Barry White.
Exactly why.
Let's get it on. But today we're again going to be using water, but it's going to be nice and warm. We're going to be doing a bubble theme shoot, and Kay's been very excited about this one. So first off, we have bubble bath. I'm going to be making a big rich lather of bubbles. If you're shooting bubble bath shots, you can do it with full swimwear, you can do it in full clothing if you want. If you are working with a model and you're making it implied, so there's no nudity shown, I would suggest just keep underwear on, and you can even put little nipple covers on. That way, neither of you need to be worried about it ending up in the shots accidentally. Everything's covered up, and then you can just have the bubbles to hide everything else and get some cool shots going on. Then, I thought, that's one level of bubbles, but what else can we get that would really lift this? Still using, Sir Click-a-Lot in the budget gear. So I got billion bubbles generator, billion bubbles. I haven't tested this yet, but it should just throw out a shit ton of bubbles. And we got a little bubble gun, which will get Kay to shoot back at the camera. So my concept is that we'll first have Kay out of the bath in her swimwear-ish lingerie with all of the bubbles to create, an out of focus area using the 51.8 as our main lens, and just have the bubbles all around her and see what kind of effects we can get. Then we'll do the bubble bath, and then we'll do bubbles in the air there as well and see what we can create. So we're using Sir Click-a-Lot and then about $20 worth of toys from a kid's shop. So let's see what we can make. Okay folks, so we're setting up this shoot. Sorry for the echo, this is the bathroom. Now we're waiting on engineering to bring a screwdriver so we can unbox the bubble stuff. So I've added a continuous light here just to be able to get some light on her, even though the majority of the light will be from the flash, because without it, my D1X wasn't able to focus at all in this room. So I've got a second camera back here, and I'm actually going to shut that blind behind us. Let me show you. Okay, so it looks really bright in here, but the ISO is up crazy high. But you can see that in the background is going to distract. So I'm actually going to close the blind so we just have a nice dark background. I've already moved the towels and everything out of the way. So to my surprise, it was really hard to get into these toys. I needed a tiny Phillips head screwdriver to get into each one to fill them up with AA batteries. Let's just see the gun first. Give it a dip. And then towards the bathtub. Oh, there you go, boy. So that's a definite working. Stop. Up. Oh, you're Snapchatting as well. Of course, priorities. Now, different brands, different bubbles, so I will use the ones that they both came with. That is a lot of bubbles. That's exactly what we want. Perfect. So essentially, I just shot away with camera settings that were pretty much eliminating the available light and using my flash to light Kay. Now I played around with the direction of my bounce flash. You can see in that first one it was lighting up too much of the room. With a bit of variation, I was able to darken up the background significantly so that we were just lighting her, and then once I add the bubbles, we'll just get those as well. Okay, so the light's all working, everything's looking okay. Of course, shooting in a bathroom with all these reflective surfaces is not ideal. You could do this in a studio. I just want to keep the bubbles into this space. So to start off, I'm going to hit my little bubble machine. I've placed it up on a towel to get a bit of an angle and get that to start shooting some bubbles behind her. Is that going to work? Not quite high enough. So I quickly realized that the bubbles weren't coming out at a high enough angle, so I grabbed a couple of stools from the hotel room, piled them up on the bathroom counter, and there we go. That's pretty cool. Let's get the gun in. So there we go, the bubbles are working, the light's working, as always, Kay's awesome poses, and we just shot away and brought the gun in to go through a bunch of different poses. Okay folks, so everything's going fairly well, but I want the bubbles in front of her as well. So I'm actually gonna move the machine forward to here, so have them more blurred out. Actually, I really need two machines, but we'll do what we can. So as simple as moving all of that forward, then we can get the bubbles in front of her. Now, if you're interested in how I get the quality of light that we're getting here, please check out my Take Control of the Light series. This is my first and most popular download series where I teach Tina all the different aspects of light so that you can create really interesting portraits. Back to the shoot, and the trickiest part of this was timing. Of course, Sir Clix-a-Lot is slow and the response time isn't great, and I only get a few shots before the buffer runs out. But then trying to pick the moments where we had lots of bubbles in shot, but they were in the right place around her face was a little bit challenging. But we shot away with a bit of patience and got some different variations. She tried out all kinds of different poses. You know, we were both experimenting. And dancing. Okay folks, we're gonna start filling the bathtub at the same time because it takes forever, so let's get our bubble bath. Okay, so playtime fun, bath time fun. Two tricks: use a whole bunch and don't rely on the water. You wanna get in there and agitate it yourself. But I think it may be almost time to get in. So wait. Okay folks, time for the bath. Now Kay's kept her bottoms on, as you can see. This is the best part of the wall whilst Kay's Snapchatting here, because it's a nice neutral area. The other side has the taps and then the background has the bunny and stuff. So this is gonna be our spot. We'll get some portraits working. Then again, we'll bring the bubbles into the foreground, see what we can make. It's going well so far, just the floor is a total slip zone now. So here now with Kay in the tub and positioning the bubbles correctly so nothing was showing, we shot away and got a few different poses and variations here. I have to say we were shooting for a couple of different publications on the day as well as for budgetography, so this isn't all the stuff we shot. So two things really surprised me today. One, how much bubble liquid these use. We went through both bottles. And two, just how effective they were. These two toys combined were about $20 and let us get some pretty interesting portraits for our first time shooting this kind of thing. Here's a whole bunch of different options we got in the tub. We got so many different variations. Now, because these are for YouTube, I've excluded any that showed a little bit too much bum and that kind of thing. So here's a couple of different last editing treatments, and here we go shooting some in the tub with her in focus and then something different with the bubbles in focus. As I said, we were shooting for a couple of different purposes, so we also shot some stuff in the shower. Freezing water is not difficult and gives some great effects, and we shot different things in the hotel room. If you've got suggestions of things you'd like to see in the budgetography series, please jump over to the website and you can leave us your suggestions. Drama. Okay folks, so lots of fun with bubbles. That was nothing too fancy. For most of it, I was shooting with Sir Clix-a-Lot, the 50mm and the 18 to 55. I did mix it up with my D810 and my D5 at times because today, as well as doing this shoot, we're doing some other stuff in the hotel and shooting for publication for Kay. So I needed some higher quality shots, unfortunately. But I hope it shows you that even just using the basic camera, basic manual flash, and then a simple idea like adding some bubbles in the air can give things an extra depth. Consider using them outdoors. These are battery operated, and then you don't have the issue of slipping over in the bathroom afterwards if you do it on the grass. Adds great depth. I think it will actually make a great tutorial for us to do together, Kay, to do one outdoors on the grass, maybe in a swimsuit or even on a beach, just to have bubbles in the foreground or background. I think it adds something interesting to the bouquet, if nothing else. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you don't keep the Barry White voice. You're not going to speak at all, are you? Thank you everyone, it's been my pleasure to be here. Make sure you jump on over to the Budgetography homepage and see everything that's going on and submit your ideas there. We'll see you both soon. See you guys. Let's get it on.